Toys for Bob may have just shown their hand when it comes to what they want to do in the future. And if it's true, let's just say I think most of us will continue to be fans of their work beyond Spyro the Dragon and even past Crash Bandicoot. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and I am back with a video that brings a few new pieces of information to the table. Last week, I brought up in our very first Spyro Yap session, yes, that's what we're calling it for now, where we talked about Spyro and its future live for an hour. If you want to see more of those types and kinds of streams where we just sit down and talk Spyro or even Crash for just a straight hour live, let me know. But in that stream, I brought up something that I clocked a few weeks back that seemed, well, initially kind of a nothing sandwich, and in of itself only reveals very little, but when you compare it to other evidence, it actually paints a picture that may be Toys for Bob's future. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh boy, is this another Spyro 4 theory video? Not quite, actually. While Spyro is of course involved in this video, I'm talking about Spyro and beyond, as in past 2026, 2027, and further. The future of Toys for Bob. At least the future that Toys for Bob currently thinks that they're probably going to go. And this picture starts with the most boring post you may read today. This post comes from Double Black Capital. Quote, Double Black Capital is pleased to partner with Toys for Bob, an iconic US game development studio. With a 35-year history, Look, I'm going to save you reading the corporate speak from a financial firm. Essentially, because Toys for Bob is now independent, their studios aren't exactly payrolled by a larger company in a consistent manner. They essentially get a big stinky check from their publishing partner for the projects that they agree upon. And Toys for Bob determines how those resources are used, like how much each employee gets paid and who is hired. So they landed a partnership with a firm that will give them money for a certain return. Simple, straightforward, adulting. But the bottom of the post is where I want you to focus in on. Newly independent, we are excited to help fuel the company's mission to become the leading partner to established franchises globally. This actually is our big first tell. To make this granular, according to Double Black Capital, the following statement is Toys for Bob's mission, their identity, their North Star, so to speak. It's to become the leading partner to established franchises globally. First and foremost, this is of course in the past tense. They are, at least currently, not looking to establish brand new franchises. They're looking at franchises that have already been created. But if you go to Double Black Capital's website, this is where things start to get interesting. When you go to their client list, you're going to see a whole list of different game studios, and even some that you might recognize. With those studios comes something quite interesting that I've never quite seen before. Each studio actually has a genre attached to the game that they are currently working on. So of course, when you scroll down and you get to Toys for Bob, you will find that the game they are working on is being considered as an adventure game. Now, some people might be angry and say, wait, no, Spyro is a platformer. What is this talk of it being purely an adventure game? So I decided to check out the rest of the clients that Double Black Capital has that also has a project that has the same genre tag as adventure. And that is where I found Minami Park. Minami Park is known for both their work on Slime Rancher and Slime Rancher 2. If we look at the gameplay, we can clearly see that it's much more than just an adventure game. In fact, the IGN trailer description declares it as a first-person open-world adventure game. So don't take Double Black Capital's adventure definition as an end-all be-all, but more as an umbrella term for the more open world-like titles. Now, while I can't find a public post like Toys for Bob that dates when Double Black Capital actually partnered with Minami Park, Double Black Capital was established in 2023. And with it almost being 2026 and Slime Rancher 2 coming out just over 2 months before this video is published and made, it's a strong deduction to assume that Double Black Capital helped and or advised Slime Rancher 2 leading up to its 1.0 release. and that the genre tag that's referred to here is referring to that project. This literally fits Spyro to a T. It cannot be anything else that they're working on. Take me out of the equation. I have been a big source and a big proponent for Spyro 4 news and content and investigating. Take my interviews, my exclusive news drops, my theories, everything that I have put into this channel out of the equation here just for a second. Everything here is publicly confirmed. The project is an IP owned by Xbox. Matt Booty said, quote, "It will be similar to games Toys for Bob has made in the past. Double Black Capital has stated that Toys for Bob's mission is to work on existing IP, which is backed up by their own website. It's been confirmed from numerous sources that the project is not Banjo-Kazooie, Toys for Bob's profile theme being a purple gem motif, and of course the announcement of when Toys for Bob went indie, where they said to keep our horns on in regards to their next project. I literally cannot state this harsher or definitively enough, barring something disastrous happening in the back end of development. Toys for Bob is currently working on a brand new entry to Spyro the Dragon. And that is before we talk about my exclusive interviews and scoops in regards to that project. Look, I get it. Spyro 4 doubters, you have been burned one too many times. But at this point, the public evidence is so abundantly clear, and if this does not spell it out for you, I really don't know what will. But that is not all that we have learned. Let's go back to Double Black Capital. Newly independent, we are excited to help fuel the company's mission to become the leading partner to establish franchises globally. Remember how I said Toys for Bob's website backed that up? Look at what it says right at the top. We are an independent game studio that loves to craft epic adventures for timeless characters. So you put that with the Double Black Capital statement, and suddenly there's a picture that's beginning to be made beyond Spyro the Dragon. Remember that email interview I had with Paul Yan, the head of Toys for Bob, a few months back, where Paul responded to everything in purple text by his choice, where I asked him if there was any other game franchise that Toys for Bob would like to work on? Paul responded by saying, "I think we can all agree that Banjo has been hibernating long enough, right?" Now, like I've said, we've already confirmed that the project they are currently working on in terms of full production is not Banjo-Kazooie. Plus, it's quite obvious, because why would you say that you can't comment on what you're currently working on and then outright say the project that you are working on? It already implies that Banjo-Kazooie is not their current project. But what it does do is express public interest in where you want to go in the future for your company. So what is the full picture here? What is it that I'm cooking? The answer is actually quite simple. When you look at all these statements here, the end result, at least at the moment, is that Toys for Bob is essentially going to become synonymous with nostalgic titles that deserve a comeback. Games that people have been pleading to come back, but its publishers have been doing nothing with, but, milk their names for merch. Essentially, when you see Toys for Bob's logo show up before a trailer starts, you already know you're gonna get hit with the nostalgic tingles. Toys for Bob being indie also means that they can work and partner with literally anyone. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, literally anyone. I'm talking Banjo-Kazooie, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, more Crash Bandicoot, and of course more Spyro. You name it, they could resurrect it. Toys for Bob's future may be kind of like being the nostalgic platforming animal rescue team. Now, are we going to see Toys for Bob's next project at the upcoming Game Awards? I don't think so. I think we are going to see it sometime in the spring and summer of 2026. If you want to know more, check out this video right here. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.